So the cabinetry was installed on that cylinder reef tank last week. This morning I'm going out and me and Scott are going to be installing the Reef Bright LED strip lights into the tank, and this will be the final part of this 8-part episode. So let's move forward. Okay, we have arrived. You can see the canopy and the base of the cabinetry is now on the system. Appears to have these nifty little tabs. There's Scott's little Apex control system, and the live rock in the tank. I've got the system shut down so the water level is a little low at the moment. This being the canopy. And that'll be the access in there. There's exhaust fan holes mounted in the back, and we'll lift the canopy off in a moment to install the lighting. And speaking of the lighting, here's the lighting master who is currently assembling the Reef Bright LED light strips. There are 9 18-inch LED light strips. If I remember right, these are not the combos. These are the single whites and single blues.
Correct. 6 blues, 3 whites.
6 blues and 3 whites, and you'll be controlling those separately through the Apex. He is currently unboxing, labeling, and putting the mounts and power cords in. The system has the cabinetry has a spine on the back side, which is a passage that the cords currently for the tunsies and the probes are hidden inside, and so will the power cords for the lights. So as Scott is preparing for the lighting installation, I will start doing some maintenance. Now, this will be the last time that this tank will be algae free. From this point on, it'll probably grow algae weekly for sure, if not sooner than that. I am anticipating some type of an initial algae bloom in the system, so hopefully that's a short one. There's no corals in there yet except for that one Tabastria. There is a handful of fish, ranging from Banggai cardinals, pajama cardinals, the initial starter damsel. There's a couple of fire gobies in there, some Sally Lightfoot crabs, as well as some little hermit crabs. And then today I'll be adding a few more fish, again fire gobies and flame gobies, along with some hermit crabs. My intent is to try to stay ahead of the potential algae problem. And so out here is the filter system. So what I'll probably do is do my 20-gallon water change, wipe the interior free of the sediment that's developed so far, and then we'll lend a hand to the lighting man to get the canopy off and the lights installed. So due to the proximity of the Tunsi units, which are kind of close to the back of the glass there, because of the reflection you can't see it, I ended up taking this bottle brush, which allows me to get in onto the back side and then clean the Tunsi itself. So I'll be able to clean the algae back there.
And while the Tunsi internal pumps do detach, which will allow me to clean the cage and impeller assembly inside them, basic removal of sediment, debris, and algae growth, for the moment, can easily be done with this small brush. And now that Scott has defined where he wants to place the LED light strips inside the canopy, it's time to lift off the canopy and do so without dropping or damaging it.
Want to go this way?
Okay, so we've got the canopy sitting upside down off the top of the tank, and he's got the strip lights positioned in there. We need to go through and measure so we get them all nice and angled properly. There are 6 blues and 3 whites in there, and even though the blue looking ones look blue, that's just the protective plastic on them, so they're not blue.
Oh, actually, the blue ones are blue. Just that we have missing plastic from some of the others. So this is white here, that's white there, and then that's white. The rest are
The
blues.
ones with blue plastic on them are not blue. So they're evenly spaced. Essentially, it's 2 blues to 1 white. So the outer 2 are blue, the inner one is white. The outer 2 are blue, the inner one is white. The outer 2 are blue, and the inner one is white.
Something like that.
So now we're going to measure and mark them, and then we'll mount them, and then we have to run the wires. There is a spine, we'll call it a backboard, runs down the length of the back of the cabinet, and that's there to hide the wires that are in there. And we'll have to snake the power cords through there. And then he's also got an exhaust fan that he'll mount inside that square hole as well.
And as Scott continues to mount the Reef Bright LED light strips, I'll service the tank, which consists of cleaning the Tunze internal water pumps and wiping algae from the inside of the tank using those aquarium cleaning magnets.
These jumbo float magnets work out real well, but I'll be much more comfortable once the lights are on the tank. That way, if I am scratching, at least I'll know it before I've done the entire tank. And Scott's got the lights just about mounted in there, kind of an array pattern. Which will work out well for the shape that the reef structure is in.
In addition to wiping algae, I'm also going to be vacuuming the sand at the bottom of the tank. To a minor degree, I question this aspect, as the vacuuming process will remove food items, living copepods, and other small bits of life that potentially the mandarin goby and other inhabitants of the tank could feed on. But on the other hand, it also removes debris from the excess food items that ultimately would pollute or cause an increase in the nutrient content of the tank. While striving for a natural reef environment, I believe at this point in this tank's lifespan, it's a bit too new to expect a capable natural operating environment. And with the addition of the new lights, I'm anticipating the first of many future algae phases. So to minimize that potential, I'm going to err to the side of caution and work to minimize those unwanted nutrients or algae blooms. And while I don't have to vacuum the gravel to do so, this is the point where I get to drain out water out of the tank, which in turn allows me to do a water change. And the water change is my method of diluting the system, and at the moment, it's also my method for adding new elements such as calcium or trying to balance the alkalinity.
Okay, so Scott is working on the wires for all the lights right now, bundling and defining which ones are which, making sure that all of the connections are secure. The new fish are still acclimating, and we've taken 20 gallons of water out of the tank, vacuumed the gravel. It's now time to go do a little work on the filter system. And I've got this cloth up here to protect when I put new water in. That's a week's worth of micron sock debris. Even though there's not a lot of life in the tank, that's what the protein skimmer's driving out. And looks like I need to address the bubbles on the algae scrubber. That little airline is probably getting a little crusted up. Otherwise, everything else in the filter system seems to be working. It's now time to clean that skimmer, change those socks, and put my 20 gallons of water back in. So the Hog algae scrubber has worked actually quite well in producing algae in this new system. You can see that's a week's growth inside there. The Hog stands for Hang On Glass, or in this case Hang On Tank. Algae scrubber has an occasional issue, and that is where the air line coming into the unit allows the air to bubble out. It'll form a salt crust in there, and that salt crust begins to restrict the air that bubbles into the unit. It just takes a little bit of cleaning out, and on occasion maybe a little application of vinegar to clean it, but usually just getting there and rubbing it will alter it. So there is the algae growth this week from the Hog, and it quite capably seems to take care of nitrate. Doesn't have as big an effect on phosphates as I'd like it to. And you can see that little bit of cleaning on that airline took care of the air bubble problem there. And then these will be the 2-micron socks that I'll change out this week. They get changed out each week. You can see the sediment that's collected in there. This is where I keep one of the bags of carbon, or the bag of carbon, in one of those socks. Okay, during the water change I just closed the valve here to the main line going back to the tank. I'm going to now open that up. In the meantime, the water's just been recirculating within the chiller there. I have this blanket, this towel that I drape over the equipment here so that as I add the water back in, it doesn't splash too much. One thing I haven't done yet, I want to add in some of the pH buffer. It's helping bring up the pH and build up the alkalinity in the system.
And unlike Scott's suggested NASCAR approach of adding a hose to the 5-gallon jugs, thus minimizing the splashing as the water exits the containers, I simply pour the water into the filter socks directly. Sure, there's a bit of splashing, but then again, that's what the hanging towel is there for. And it's quicker and easier for me, as this process involves 4 5-gallon jugs of new salt water to be lifted and poured back into the filter sump.
Hi, Jim Stime here with Aquarium Design. I sure hope you're enjoying the show. Just a little inside information. When I met with the customer originally to discuss what it was she wanted, she told me she wanted a cylinder tank and she wanted a living coral reef. Well, I knew right away I needed to bring in my friend Cande to help out with that live rock sculpture. The second thing she said to me was, and I want the app on my phone. Well, I knew right there I needed to bring in my friend Scott Leaf, and that we were going to be installing the Neptune Systems Apex Aquarium controller. Here's some information on their most updated version.
The design of the outside of the Apex was just as important to us as what we did on the inside. So the new mounting system lets the Apex flip up, and you can easily see where all the cables go. It then drops back down to keep stray water from entering the electronics. Underneath are many of the same connectors found on the previous Apex, things like switch inputs and your variable speed ports. and even Aquabus, so all of your existing modules and accessories will work with this apex. We've also added salinity monitoring as well. And of course, for monitoring the health of your aquarium, there are the connectors for pH, ORP, temperature, and there's even a connector for 12-volt input for power outage situations. So it's actually quite amazing how many things we put into this new apex to monitor the health of your aquarium and to control everything that you need to control. But what we really did was listen to all of the customer feedback and put some things in there like Wi-Fi. So now you have Wi-Fi if you want to use it, or you can use a wired connection. One touch firmware updates. We now call it the Apex operating system, and with one touch on your mobile device, you can update it. With the Energy Bar 832, you can see how much power each and every device on your aquarium is using. You can then monitor that for a day, make some changes to say your lighting schedule or your temperature, and see how it changes the next day. The Energy Bar 832 has 3 built-in one-link ports. This means you can connect up with one cable our wave pumps, the dose to dose elements in your aquarium, and future products that we'll come out with. On the new Energy Bar, there are indicator lights that show you when each and every outlet is on or off, and they also will blink if you happen to be pulling too much current on any one outlet so that you don't overload a circuit. We know that tens of thousands of aquarists around the world count on the Apex as a critical component to their successful aquariums. This new Apex gives us the platform to continue innovating for our customers so that they can be more successful with less hassle.
When you think of Tunze products, you probably think of protein skimmers, internal pumps, and submersible filters. But did you know Tunze also offers water level controllers, reverse osmosis water purification systems, pH, temperature, and ORP instrumentation? Are you aware of Tunze's full line of various filter medias and LED lighting? Have you seen Tunze's updated line of Turbel pumps, the NanoStream, the Stream, and the MasterStream, along with their controllers? In addition to their wide product line, what Tunze in Germany wants you to also see is their technology, their quality, their craftsmanship, and in particular, their people and the pride that goes into every one of their products and its assembly. Tunze, high-tech aquarium ecology. Are you ready for the coolest jellyfish system ever? It's not a bowl, and it's not a box. It's a circulation device, and it allows you to build your own individual, customized jellyfish aquarium system. This new circulation device allows you to convert almost anyone's equally sided tank into a jellyfish system. Introducing a uniquely innovative concept from the originator of the home hobbyist jellyfish system, the Jellyquarium 360. Jim Stime, the pioneer of jellyfish tanks, now offers the Jellyquarium 360. Why 360? Because it's designed for a tank you can walk around or view from all sides. The 360 fits into the top of a hexagon, a cube, or a cylinder tank. It produces a three-dimensional water flow that gently rotates jellyfish in a geometric 3D circular donut-shaped flow pattern. The new Jellyquarium 360 was designed using 3D software and is state-of-the-art 3D printed. And best of all, it's proudly made in America. 4 sizes are available, plus an entire line of standard acrylic aquariums, stands, and canopies, ranging from hexagon to cubes to the awesome-looking cylinders. Welcome to the newest in jellyfish keeping. Meet the next challenge. Visit Jellyquarium360.com for more information.
So with the water flowing, you can now see it's coming into the Micron soft chamber. The water level is still high. The floats there are defining where it's supposed to be, and right now they're telling the protein skimmer to stay turned off because I need to clean that here. The chiller is running and should have water passing into the system now. Scott is in the process of getting the wires all bundled together. He's probably also working on that exhaust fan in there.
That'll be fast.
Yeah, I'll go out and drain some water out of the sump and clean that protein skimmer cup.
There is a blue tape mark that defines the water level in this filter, and invariably my 20-gallon water change ends up leaving a bit more water than what I take out. And so what I'm able to do is go through and siphon some of the sediment that ends up on the bottom. And I do this not only so that the apex doesn't continue to send everybody an email saying sump is too full, but at the same time it allows the protein skimmer to come on. Scott has a float switch that when the sump is defined as too full, it turns the protein skimmer off so that it doesn't overflow. And so that's what we're working on right now, is dropping that water level. Still got another inch to go. And then you'll see the protein skimmer will come back on by itself. And that protein skimmer should come on any minute now, because we're down to the tape mark. There it goes.
Using the excess water I siphoned out of the sump, along with vacuuming some of the debris that settled in the bottom of the sump, I can now use that water to clean the protein skimmer's collection cup.
So here's the freshwater top-off reservoir for the tank. It probably has been evaporating to maybe 3 gallons a week here lately, not all that much. But up until today, it's had the lid on top of it, the clear poly lid, and now with the addition of the lights and in particular the canopy, along with that fan in there, I expect the evaporation to be much greater. So we're going to go ahead and top off the reservoir, and then next week we'll get a better idea as to what the evaporation is with the fan and without the lid. Now we'll put the lids back into place. And again, you can see the exhaust fans there, the apex controlling power bars, the various modules. The chiller is underneath that cabinet there, working cleaning items, heater controllers, refrigeration controller, protein skimmer, micron socks, and of course the freshwater reservoir.
With the tank and filter system now serviced and the 20-gallon weekly water change now completed, I can begin to add the fish that I brought along and have been acclimating during this time. Our new aquarium owner is quite eager to fill the tank with lots of fish and coral, and to a certain degree, the delay in being able to add the lighting due to the time it's taken to add the cabinetry and canopy built has worked in my favor, as it's allowed the filter system to remove some of the elements and nutrients that would have contributed to the initial algae phase. My choice in fish have been simple and colorful, along with some that will contribute to the grazing on the anticipated algae growth in the tank. I just need to be able to get the fish into the tank.
Okay, so you've got all the strips mounted, kind of aimed in there. You've got the exhaust fan positioned, and you've got yourself quite the bundle of cables there.
Right.
What do you want to tell us about that?
We're going to play jump rope. Essentially, we've got 2 blue channels and 1 white channel. We've also got our cable for the lunar sim module we have mounted in there for the apex. And then we've got a connection here for the fan that's going to send air in. We've got a fan that blows air in, And then we've got some vent holes back here that will allow the humidity and any excess heat to be vented back out. So the next step is going to be to hang this puppy back up there and try to fish this wonderful bundle of cables down through the back and fish it out a hole underneath. And it's just a matter of connecting everything. So wish us luck.
Not wanting to drop the canopy, especially this time with the lights now mounted inside of it and being this close to completion, a better plan is made as to who's going to do what. Knowing that there's a slight reach disadvantage on Scott's part, I need to take that into consideration as we lift the canopy up and onto the top of the cylinder tank. This canopy has 4 outer doors that swing outwards, and its top is hinged at its back side. Additionally, there's a spine or a back channel that the wires for the apex probes, the Cande pumps, and now the lighting's power cords all pass through. And the canopy needs to align itself so that in addition to lifting it up, it also involves twisting it and then threading the power cords through it.
This is Jim. Oh, then all I can do is lift. You'll have to do the one turning, so.
All right, ready?
Yeah. Okay. It's inside the spine. I'm guessing. Okay, right about there. Okay, so we're trying to snake the wires out of the back of the canopy into the spine. And the next trick will be is getting them to come down through the spine and then through a hole into the cabinet. Okay, so we managed to fish the wires down through the back. We're able to pull them through the hole into the cabinet. It's now a matter of hooking them up into the apex so that we can power them and control them. Alright, which modules are lunar sim? We're pulling the cords for the power for the lights in through the back side of Scott's apex controlling system. These down here are the drivers for the LED lights, and he's currently positioning the ballasts that are in there, and then it'll interface with the energy bar here on the front side. I think there's a total of 3 ballasts and 2 drivers. One of them's a dual and the other's a single. So as he now gets the power cords connected, the lights do start coming
There you
on.
go, Peggy.
Whoa, what a difference.
Clear to white,
The blues, you say, are where?
70%, and whites are at 55%.
Okay.
Peggy, the light time, sunrise is at 9 o'clock, and sunset, final sunset is at 9 p.m.
12 hours. Okay.
Peak light is 13:30, so 1:30 to 5 o'clock basically is peak light.
Okay.
Enjoy that nice clean live rock now.
Knowing that Scott is a reef purist,
We were just about at peak.
he scheduled the lighting cycle for 12 hours.
Let's just for kicks and giggles.
I think that's a little long,
See,
especially for a newly set up and first time lit reef tank.
full light looks like.
I've warned the customer about the expected algae bloom that will occur, but they want to see the reef in the morning and they want to enjoy it in the evening. I guess there's only one way one's going to understand, and that's to actually experience it. So I've asked Scott to decrease the intensity of the LED lights during this initial phase of the reef tank's development.
Well, we definitely don't need it any lighter than that.
Well, that's full power, but no, we don't need it lighter than that.
Oh,
right
that just went up to full power.
now. Yeah, I just put it to full power.
So that's maximum blue and maximum white.
Yeah, now it's going back to auto. Now let's just go back to our outlets here.
Along with all the other components of this reef tank, the lighting schedule and its intensities are all controlled by the Apex Aquarium controller, which Scott is able to define through his laptop computer. The lighting is exclusively Reef Bright XHO LED light strips, which are low heat producing, and the canopy has an exhaust fan that draws air out of the canopy. With some final adjustments of the lights, this now concludes the assembly of this 36-inch diameter, 42-inch tall, monolithic cylinder reef tank system. The next steps are the introduction of corals as well as fish, and the beginning of regular aquarium maintenance.
All right, so we're all done. Lights are in, all connected to the Apex. Look up here. We've got our lights arranged so that they clear the overflow in the back. Again, we've got 6 blues, 3 whites, which is a good balance. We've got it all controlled by the Apex. We'll have a natural sunrise, sunset, dimming effect, and everything is set up. So
Just a minute,
now that we're done, keep moving forward, and Peggy can start getting her corals.
So she's finally up and running. I'd like to thank Scott and Cande for helping out. And the next challenge with this aquarium will probably be dealing with the impatient owner who wants fish and corals right away. But the greater concern will be that algae phase that we're going to go through. Down the road we may show you some updates on there, but until then, moving forward.
I heard that.